আসসালামু আলাইকুম আমরা অনেক চেষ্টা করলাম আমরা আশা আছে যে আগামী ইলেকশনে আমরা লেবার গভর্নমেন্ট ফর্ম করার জন্য কিন্তু আমরা গভর্নমেন্ট ফর্ম করতাম পারবো যদি পাবলিকে সাপোর্ট করেন যদি আমরা দেশ জুড়ে সবাই সাপোর্ট করেন আর যারা ভিউয়ার তারা দেখরা তারা কীভাবে এই গভর্নমেন্টে তারা এই দেশ নষ্ট করেন সবার কষ্ট বাড়ে সব ফ্যামিলির তারা হাউজিং কস্ট বাড়ে মর্গেজ কস্ট বাড়ে তারা ফুড কস্ট এই যে ইনফ্লেশন বাড়ছে এটা তো গভর্নমেন্টে মিসম্যানেজ করিয়া বাড়াইছে ইন্টারেস্ট রেট বাড়াইছে তারার ইকোনমিক মিসম্যানেজমেন্টের জন্য সো আশা করি যারা দেখরা তাই দেখতে পাররা কীভাবে খারাপ ব্যবহার করার আমরা এই দেশের ক্রেডিবিলিটি যেটা আছে ইকোনমিক ক্রেডিবিলিটি এটা নষ্ট করছে সো জেনারেল ইলেকশনও ফার্স্ট করার চান্স হইল আশা করি আমরা আছে কিন্তু it's up to the people যদি আমরা কমিউনিটি যারা যে জায়গা যেতে হয় তাই দেন যদি রেজিস্টার করেন যারা রেজিস্টার্ড নয় তারা ইনভলভড হন তারা আমরা সাপোর্ট করেন তখন আমরা চান্স থাকবো কারণ আমরা কমিউনিটি অনেক ইনফ্লুয়েন্স আছে অনেক সিটও আমি দেখছি ফর ইনস্টেন্স বেডফোর্ড একটা কনস্টিটুয়েন্সি আমার কলিগ গত ইলেকশন দুইটা ইলেকশন আমার কলিগ একজনে ফার্স্ট করছেন প্রিভিয়াসলি এটা কনজারভেটিভ সিট আছিল আমরা কমিউনিটি যারা এই এলাকাতে আছেন তারা সাপোর্ট দিচ্ছেন তার জন্য আমরা ফার্স্ট করতাম পারছি অনেক এলাকা আমরা বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটি যারা আছেন তারা যদি মিলিয়ে ভোট করেন লেবার পার্টির যে সিট হল আছে মার্জিনাল এই সিট আমরা জিততাম পারবো So we need to win a lot of seats to form a government and that's why every vote from every community matters, including the British Bangladeshi community that's dispersed in different parts of the country and in some seats just a few hundred votes will make the difference and enable us to win enough parliamentary seats to be able to form a Labour government. So we need everybody to see how much damage this government is doing to their lives, their children's lives, their circumstances, and to get mobilised, get political, get involved so that we can form a government to protect people against this hateful, vicious, nasty government that's damaging people's lives. I know that these are really incredibly difficult times for people up and down the country. And Liz Truss, when she was Prime Minister, made things worse by having a budget that was uncosted, which has meant that billions of pounds have been wasted. And also, we've seen the markets lose trust in the government and the cost of borrowing has got high and therefore people's mortgages have gone up. And alongside that, it means now with another Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister is going to have to find cuts to public services as well as raising taxes in order to address the mistakes that have been made. E-government, Liz Truss's government, বাজেট ইন্ট্রোডিউস করছে এই বাজেটের অনেক খারাপ হয়েছে যেন সবার মর্গেজ বাড়ছে যারা রেন্টি তারারও কস্ট বাড়ে প্রাইভেট রেন্টের যারা ন্যাশনাল হেলথ সার্ভিস অলরেডি তারা ক্রাইসিস এখন আমরা দেখলাম যে সামনে দিয়ে হেলথ সার্ভিসের বাজেটও আরও কমানি হইব 7 মিলিয়ন মানুষ ওয়েটিং লিস্টও জিপি যারা জিপি অ্যাপয়েন্টমেন্ট পাইরা না অনেক অসুবিধা আমি জানি যখন আমরা গভর্নমেন্টে আসলাম ন্যাশনাল হেলথ সার্ভিসও অনেক স্যাটিসফ্যাকশন আছে জিপি 2 দিনের ভিতরে দেখা যাইতো অনেক সময় মানুষের কমপ্লেন করছেন যে অত সকালখানে দেখা হয় আরও সময় লাগে তারা টাইম মতো অর্গানাইজ করার লাগে চেষ্টা করছেন কিন্তু আমরা প্রায়োরিটি যেটা আছে যে অন টার্গেট যেটা টার্গেট মিট করার জন্য Unfortunately, what's happened is that over the last 12 years we've seen the Conservative government make cuts to public services, local government, on policing, on health, on housing, and as a result of this, people are suffering. And what we're now going to get is more cuts as well as tax rises. And that's why it's so important that people get involved. And I hope people will support the Labour Party when a general election comes because we need to get rid of this Conservative government because they have done nothing but damage our economy, damage people's livelihoods and increase the costs of living on top of the wider crisis that people face. The thing about the Conservative Party is this is not a party that's interested in leading the country. They're treating the country like it's not important. What they're focused on is jobs for themselves. And to be honest, it's making a mockery of our country. the way that the Conservatives are running the country and failing to. And you've got the spectre of a minister who hasn't even served 2 weeks. He's only just done 2 weeks. And it shows bad judgment on the part of the new Prime Minister, because he knew that about the behaviour of Gavin Williamson, and he still gave him a job. He knew about the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, and her behaviour, and he rehired her within a week, even though she was sacked by his predecessor because she breached the rules and she put national security at risk. This is a complete joke. The government has made a mockery of the country by behaving like this. And it's right that Williamson resign, but he should never have been given a job. We want a general election. We have been calling for a general election. I think it's unacceptable that we've had now 3 prime ministers this year and they haven't agreed to a general election. They didn't have a mandate. Liz Truss has destroyed the economy, and what we have is the new Prime Minister avoiding election, both with the members as well as a general election. They are running scared, but in the meantime they're continuing to cause damage to people's lives and livelihoods and making people poorer. And we're now in a recession, which is likely to last at least 2 years. So this is a government that's totally destroying people's lives. And child poverty has gone up to 4 million now. We've got children going hungry in this country. We've got people struggling to pay their bills, and it's just going to get worse. And this is not something that's happened by accident. It's because this government has caused the chaos and the damage. That's why people are having to pay more, and they're suffering. That's why we need a Labour government.
So tonight we held a successful fundraising dinner for the Tower Hamlets Labour Party, and we were joined by MPs who are retreating from Ilford with the Shadow Secretary of State for Health, Tandesi, Slough MP, who's also Shadow Minister for Railways, and of course Rushnara Ali, and a number of our National Executive Committee members. We're a new Labour group, there's 19 councillors, Tower Hamlets Labour group. We're in a process of rebuilding the party. So this fundraiser achieves 2 things. It raises some money for the Labour Party. Secondly, it's about creating some unity and energising our party members. So we had over 240 Tower Hamlets Labour Party members come to this fundraiser. So immensely grateful to them, and it's been extremely successful again, and I think it's onwards and upwards for the Labour Party. Well, the independent mayor from the Aspire Mayor, Roman, he's in power, he's control of the council, he's mayor of this borough, he's delivering his manifesto. We as opposition leader, our duty is to scrutinise him and hold to account in a constructive manner, and that's our duty, that's our responsibility to the borough of Tower Hamlets and to our residents, and that's what we're doing.
Enormous opportunities but massive inequalities. We see people really struggling with the cost of living, and services right across London really struggling. So my message to people is the cavalry is coming with Labour. We've got plans for the biggest expansion of NHS staff in history. We recruit and train at universities, increase nursing and midwifery clinical training places by 10,000, 5,000 more health visitors, and we will fund that by abolishing the non-dom tax status, because we think that residents in Tower Hamlets need more doctors and more nurses. Tower Hamlets, right across the country, we are not taking people for granted. We're determined to earn people's trust and support, not just criticising the Conservatives or criticising the Mayor of Tower Hamlets, but actually setting out, reflecting people's priorities. That's the kind of message and the positive vision that Keir Starmer and the whole Labour team are now offering. Their Conservative chaos has crashed the economy, left working people paying the price with higher taxes and public service cuts. And who's paying the price? Invest in renewable energy so we can tackle climate change at the same time, and big plans for our public services, whether it's free breakfast clubs for children in primary school or the biggest expansion of NHS staff in history.
Today we had a great event. It was evident to see that we now have the energy, the young people, the new blood that to take over the council again. It's evident to see that we have the people, the support to actually now go forward and actually govern Tower Hamlets Council, and if there is an election, Labour Party to run the country again.